Welcome back to Jesse's Performance, everybody. Tonight I'm going to be doing some fabrication on the Burn Bird. I have some scrap metal I got from the store, some Dimple Dies, and I'm going to see if I can't build some badass A-pillar roll cage braces. Let's go. First things first, you got to take some measurements for your template. A good template will make this job much easier. For the templates, I like to use poster board. It's flexible and strong, and it's easy to write on, easy to cut. Once you have your template cut, test fit it and make sure you don't have to alter it all to make it fit properly. On this project, I'm going to use what we call Dimple Dies. They're just these mandrels that smush the metal and form it. It makes the panel stronger, less likely to flex, and it also looks really cool. Sometimes you have to mess around a little bit with different size Dimple Dies and figure out what orientation you like and what design best fits the project. As you can see, it took me quite a few tries to get the pattern that I wanted. Dimple Dies can get out of hand really quick, so make sure that you use them where you need them and don't go crazy with it because it'll look like an amateur did it. When drilling through sheet metal, I always use a piece of wood to back it up. That way you can apply good pressure without deforming the metal, it doesn't overheat the metal, and you just get a good hole. I like to do the same thing for the hole saw. You don't have to clamp it super crazy. The metal's not going to run away from you. You just want to make sure you hold it steady to not catch the bit sideways. Now that I have my holes drilled, I'm going to use the vise and the dimple die and get these holes just the way I want them in this metal. Now that I have that piece made and test fit where I want it, I'm going to make a second one for the passenger side. That way I can line them both up and look from the front of the car and make sure that it looks the way I want it to look. And I don't have to shift one up or down either way to get the proper look I'm after. After I get them both where I want them, I measure where I'm going to weld. That way the welds are evenly spaced. I go 1 inch weld, 2 inch gap, 1 inch weld, 2 inch gap. I'm also using the TIG welder with silicone bronze on here. The silicone bronze melts at a lower temperature, so it's easier to control the heat with the sheet metal. These pieces are structural and a nice visual piece. This is what actually holds the body of the car to the cage in this project. Typically, it helps the body from shifting on the cage, but since we cut the floor and everything out, the cage is literally just setting inside the body until we weld these pieces on. Obviously you want to make sure your area is clean of any rubber, paint, any sort of grease, oil, debris. That way when you go to weld, it'll have a nice weld. It won't have splatter. It won't have, you know, any kind of contamination colors. It'll just be a nice, good looking weld. Now that I have the A pillars done, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the B pillars. It's basically all the same steps. You just got to make the pieces of metal fit your gap the way you want and get the dimple dies positioned how you want them. Here I do the old method of just drilling a hole with a vise on a piece of metal just as a demonstration, and it sucked. It kept binding up, grabbing the drill bit, all that crap. So this is more of a demonstration than anything. This is not the right way for me to do it. And now you can see it's just so much easier with just the wood backing. Doesn't bite. I can just grab it, run some holes. I don't even clamp it down. I'm just holding it manually, and it had no problem. It's never a bad idea to run a small pilot hole when you're drilling holes in sheet metal like this here, and then using a step bit. It just makes sure that you locate it where it needs to be at. This part here is going to be kind of hard to see because my back's to the camera, just the way I place the camera, because I suck. But yeah, sometimes when the cage is very symmetrical, even the body's not. So sometimes you got to tweak some metal out of the way, or move some things out of the way a little bit to make sure that your panel that you're putting in fits really well like you want it to. I like using these little clamps. They hold the metal really flush to the bar. And as you can see, I keep moving them to make sure that my panel is completely flush. And we're having to put a little twist in it, so just moving the clamp down as you're welding it, it'll really make it a nice fit and finish. And there it is, the A pillar and the B pillar for the driver's side both finished. I'm going to work on getting the B pillar for the passenger side done. And then also I'm going to do the back side of these A pillars just for more structure and to help the cage hold to the body really well, because it's really flimsy with this T-top roof.
That's the finished product. I got them done. I love them. Hopefully you guys might have learned something during this video. If you like the how-to style stuff, let us know. I'd be more than happy to teach you guys whatever I know, as long as we're getting subscribers. With that note, subscribe, like, ring the bell, you know, do all the stuff. That way we can try and make some money and grow our channel.